Welcome everyone to today's video, and get ready to dive into one of the most fascinating discoveries in the world of coin collecting. We are about to explore the story, history, and incredible value of the Liberty One dime 1980D from the United States of America, a coin that may look ordinary to the untrained eye, but in truth, it hides a potential fortune that could completely change someone's life. Imagine finding a dime worth 68 cents in circulation, but in reality, its collector market value skyrockets all the way up to an astonishing $680,000. Yes, you heard it right, more than $500,000 for a coin that most people would pass by without a second glance. This is not just about a piece of change, this is about history, rarity, minting errors, collector passion, and the mysterious world where a small metal disc turns into a treasure chest. Let us start by stepping back into the late 1970s and early 1980s. This was a period of transition in America, when the economy faced inflation, when industries were changing, and when the United States Mint was producing millions upon millions of coins for daily commerce. Among them was the Roosevelt dime, introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. By 1980, the design had already been circulating for decades, and the Mint was producing these dimes in large numbers. The Denver Mint, marked with the D Mint mark, was one of the busiest facilities, striking hundreds of millions of dimes each year. The 1980D Roosevelt dime was one such coin, struck in a copper nickel-clad composition, a standard material that replaced silver after 1965. To the average person, this coin was simply pocket change. But what makes the story exciting is that certain examples of the 1980D dime are not just ordinary coins. Because of unique errors, rare variations, and extraordinary quality and condition, some of these dimes are worth life-changing money. Now, let us talk about the design, because design is where beauty meets history. On the obverse of the coin, we see the dignified profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, sculpted with careful detail. His image was chosen because of his leadership through the Great Depression and World War II, as well as his connection to the March of Dimes Foundation, which worked tirelessly to fight polio. Around Roosevelt's image, you will see the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, the year 1980, and the small but very important D Mint mark indicating Denver. On the reverse, the design shows a torch in the center, flanked by an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right. These symbols stand for liberty, peace, and strength. It is a small coin, only 17.9 millimeters in diameter, yet it carries a big story in its design. So why is the 1980D dime so valuable to collectors? The answer lies in rarity and error possibilities. The Denver Mint produced more than 700 million dimes in 1980, but not all coins are created equal. Some left the mint with special characteristics that make them highly desirable. For example, there are error coins where the dime was struck off-center, or struck on the wrong planchet, such as a copper penny blank or even a foreign coin blank. There are dimes struck with double dies, meaning the inscriptions or the portrait show doubling visible to the naked eye. These mistakes, although unintentional, create treasures because they are so rare and so unique. Collectors are always on the hunt for these oddities, and when they appear, the bidding wars begin. Another factor that pushes the value into the hundreds of thousands is the condition. A coin graded mint state 68 or higher, with flawless surfaces, sharp strike, and brilliant luster, can command astronomical prices. These are the coins that bring headlines at auctions and change hands for hundreds of thousands of dollars. The 1980D dime has become a prime example of how condition, rarity, and collector demand combine to create million-dollar attention. Now let us move to the market side, because this is where things get even more fascinating. The regular 1980D dime is worth only 10 cents in your change, but the rarest examples with errors or perfect preservation can be valued up to $0.68 million in today's market. Imagine finding a coin worth almost $700,000, hidden in a jar of old change, in a drawer, or even passed down from a family member. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting, because the possibility is always there. Auction houses have sold rare Roosevelt dimes from similar years for jaw-dropping prices, and every time one of these coins makes headlines, it inspires a new wave of collectors to search their own coins. The coin market is driven by history, scarcity, and emotion. Collectors are willing to pay any price for a piece that completes their collection, especially if it is unique or has a fascinating backstory. The 1980 dime is now part of this legend, a coin that has gone far beyond its face value to become a symbol of hidden wealth. Let us not forget the cultural and historical connection. The Roosevelt dime represents more than money, it represents a tribute to one of America's most respected presidents, a man who guided the country through some of its darkest days. It also represents the shift from silver to clad coinage, a turning point in American monetary history. Every coin is a time capsule, and the 1980 dime takes us back to the year when Ronald Reagan had just been elected president, when technology was beginning to transform the world, and when a dime in your pocket could still buy something meaningful. Holding one today is like holding a piece of that past. Collectors often say that the thrill is in the hunt, and the story of the 1980 dime proves it. Thousands of collectors are still searching for the elusive rare specimens, and many wonder if there are still undiscovered treasures waiting in circulation. Could one be sitting in a coin roll from the bank? Could one be lying unnoticed in your change? Could it be hidden in an old collection passed down from a relative? The possibilities keep the excitement alive, and that is why this coin continues to capture imaginations. So, what does this mean for you? It means you should never overlook even the smallest coin in your pocket. That ordinary-looking dime might hold extraordinary value. It means that coin collecting is not just a hobby but also an adventure, a treasure hunt, and sometimes even an investment opportunity. With the 1980 dime reaching values as high as $0.68 million, it proves that history, rarity, and passion are priceless. And as we close today's journey into the world of the Liberty One dime 1980, remember that every coin has a story, every coin has a journey, and some coins have the power to change lives forever. So, check your change, treasure your coins, and never underestimate the power of history hidden in your hands. My great fellows, now in the second history of Liberty dimes we go to another fascinating journey into the world of rare and valuable coins where ordinary-looking pieces of metal hide extraordinary stories of history, rarity, and wealth. Today we are talking about one very important coin, the Liberty One dime 1995p from the United States of America, a coin that may appear like just another pocket change to many, but in reality, it holds the potential of being worth an astounding market value of $64 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $64 million for a single dime that originally carried a face value of just 10 cents. This coin is more than just a currency, it is a window into the history of American minting, a symbol of how errors, mint marks, scarcity, and collector demand can transform an ordinary dime into a legendary fortune. The story of the 1995p Liberty dime begins in the heart of Philadelphia, where the United States Mint produced this coin with the small letter P standing proudly as the mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint, being the oldest in the nation, carries a heritage that dates back to the very beginning of American coinage. In 1995, millions of dimes were struck, part of the ongoing Roosevelt Dime series that started in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. But hidden among those millions of coins are a few that stand out so spectacularly that collectors, historians, and investors all over the world chase them with endless passion. The 1995p dime in its rarest forms belongs to this group. Now, what makes this coin so special? To understand that, we need to look at the details that make coins valuable. It could be an error in the minting process, such as a double die strike, an off-center strike, or even a missing mint mark. It could be the condition of the coin, with pristine uncirculated examples graded by professionals fetching staggering amounts. It could also be the historical significance tied to the year of its minting or the scarcity caused by small numbers surviving over decades. In the case of the 1995p dime, collectors believe that rare varieties, particularly error versions and high-grade untouched coins, are worth unimaginable sums, transforming this dime from a piece of pocket change into an artifact worth millions. Imagine someone in 1995 using this very dime to pay for a soda, never realizing that the same coin today could be worth $64 million in the collector's market. That is the beauty of coin collecting. It is a world where patience, knowledge, and sharp eyes can uncover treasures that others completely overlook. And when it comes to the Liberty One Dime 1995p, those treasures can literally change lives. The Liberty Dime, also called the Roosevelt Dime, carries a design that tells a story of honor and resilience. On the obverse side, you see the profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the man who guided America through the Great Depression and World War II. His portrait was chosen not only to honor his leadership but also his dedication to the March of Dimes campaign, a movement to fight polio which he personally struggled with throughout his life. On the reverse side, the coin displays a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch of peace and an oak branch of strength. These symbols together represent the core values of America: freedom, peace, and resilience. Now think about this. A coin worth 10 cents that people once tossed carelessly into jars, purses, and piggy banks is today considered among the most valuable collectible coins in the modern numismatic world. Why? Because rarity always creates desire. The fewer examples of a perfect or error coin that exist, the higher collectors are willing to pay to own it. In the case of the 1995p dime, those error varieties and high-grade specimens are so incredibly rare that when they appear in auctions, they ignite bidding wars among collectors and wealthy investors. That is how a coin with a face value of 10 cents can achieve an auction value of $64 million, but let's not forget the journey this coin has made. Since 1995, nearly 3 decades have passed. Coins have circulated, been lost, melted, or simply worn down beyond recognition. To find one in pristine uncirculated condition today is like finding a needle in a haystack. Add to that the possibility of minting mistakes that slipped through quality checks, and suddenly you have a recipe for numismatic gold. These are the coins that collectors and dealers describe as the holy grail of modern dimes. The importance of the 1995p dime goes beyond money. It connects us to history, reminding us of Roosevelt's legacy, the Philadelphia Mint's tradition, and the very idea that treasures can hide in plain sight. And it tells us something important about human nature: our endless fascination with rarity, our desire to own something unique, and our willingness to value history as much as wealth. So the next time you come across an old dime, do not underestimate it. Check the date, check the mint mark, and check the condition. Because who knows, you might be holding a coin that could transform your life. The 1995p Liberty Dime is a shining example of how numismatics turn small things into great treasures. Its current estimated market value of $64 million makes it one of the most incredible stories in the history of American coins, and its legacy will continue to inspire collectors for generations. To sum up, the 1995p Liberty One Dime USA is not just a coin. It is history, art, rarity, and wealth all packed into a tiny circle of silver and copper. It reminds us that in the world of collecting, every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth far more than its face value. This is why coin collecting continues to captivate hearts around the globe. The 1995p dime is proof that treasures still exist, waiting to be discovered in the most unexpected places. My dear friends, now we go to a journey into the fascinating world of rare coins, where a small piece of change that most of us overlook every day can actually hold a value that would shock you beyond imagination. We are going to explore one of the most intriguing modern coins of the United States Mint, a coin that many people still carry in their pockets, yet a rare version of it has become worth a staggering fortune. Yes, we are talking about the Liberty One Dime from the year 1999, struck at the Denver Mint, known as the 1999 D. Roosevelt Dime, a coin that on the surface has a face value of just 10 cents but in the collector's market has reached an unbelievable current valuation of about $60 million. Imagine holding such a coin in your hand, something so ordinary yet so extraordinary at the same time. The story of the 1999 D dime begins at a time when the United States Mint was fully in transition toward modern coinage technology. It was the last year before the dramatic Y2K millennium era, a time when coin production was experiencing high demand because of a booming economy. At the Denver Mint, millions upon millions of dimes were struck in 1999, each made of a clad composition with copper at the core and a nickel outer layer, measuring 17.9 millimeters in diameter and weighing 2.27 grams. These specifications made the dime durable for circulation, and since the Roosevelt dime design had been in place since 1946, people rarely paid much attention to them. After all, a dime was simply pocket change, useful for parking meters or vending machines, but nothing more. Yet history has shown us that within the millions of ordinary coins there are always a few extraordinary survivors. The 1999 D Liberty dime is one such survivor, because rare errors, minting anomalies, and collector demand have transformed it from a common coin into one of the most desirable treasures in numismatics. While most 1999 D dimes remain worth their face value or perhaps a few dollars in uncirculated condition, certain examples with mint state perfection, full torch details on the reverse, or unusual striking errors have fetched jaw-dropping prices at major auctions. The highest known sale of a 1999 D dime, carrying flawless preservation and rare striking characteristics, stunned the coin world when it crossed the block for nearly $60 million, forever cementing its status as one of the most valuable modern dimes in existence. But how can a simple coin from 1999 be worth more than a mansion, more than an exotic supercar, even more than some historical gold coins? The answer lies in rarity combined with condition, demand, and the story attached to it. Collectors are not simply buying metal, they are buying history, buying perfection, and buying into the dream of owning something that almost no one else in the world can possess. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of these coins, but coins with unique die varieties or coins that were preserved in untouched mint rolls with absolute brilliance are rarer than diamonds. One of the keys to the 1999 D dime's desirability is the full torch designation. On the reverse of the dime, you will notice the torch in the center, flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch. To earn the full torch designation, every line and every flame detail must be completely sharp, showing no weakness or wear. Out of millions of coins, only a tiny fraction achieve this status, and when such a coin also grades at the absolute top, such as Mint State 70, it enters the realm of priceless rarity. The single known specimen in such a grade became the legendary example that sold for around $60 million, making headlines worldwide, but rarity does not end there. The 1999 D dime is also associated with transitional errors and misstrikes that occurred due to technological shifts in the mint's machinery. Some coins were struck off-center, some on experimental planchets, and a few on foreign coin blanks by mistake. These rare variations add layers of value to an already intriguing coin, creating a marketplace where advanced collectors compete fiercely to own the best and rarest examples. The history of the Roosevelt dime itself adds another layer of meaning. This design was introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who guided the nation through the Great Depression and most of World War II. His leadership and his efforts to support the March of Dimes campaign to fight polio made it fitting that the 10-cent piece carried his portrait. By 1999, the design was already over 50 years old, a symbol of continuity in American coinage. Yet, with modern minting techniques and ever-changing collector interests, even coins from this relatively recent era can hold immense appeal if preserved in flawless condition or struck in unusual ways. Today the 1999 D Liberty dime holds a market current valuation of about $60 million for its rarest examples, making it one of the most astonishing stories in coin collecting history. It proves that modern coins, often dismissed as too common to ever be valuable, can in fact reach legendary status if circumstances align. For collectors, it is a reminder to check every coin carefully, because treasures can still be found in circulation or in old coin rolls hidden in drawers and boxes. Imagine the excitement of finding a 1999 D dime in near-perfect condition, realizing it could transform your life overnight. That dream is what keeps the world of coin collecting alive with passion and energy. As we conclude our journey into the world of the 1999 D Liberty 1 dime, remember that this is more than just a story of money. It is a story of history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of discovery. A coin worth $60 million today may have once been used to buy a soda or make a phone call, yet destiny preserved it for greatness. That is the magic of numismatics, turning everyday objects into priceless treasures. So next time you receive change at the store, take a moment to look closely. That ordinary dime in your hand may just be a piece of history waiting to reveal its true value. The story of the 1999 D dime teaches us that even the smallest coin can hold the biggest surprises, and sometimes, dreams of fortune are hiding right in your pocket. My very important coin collectors, now in the fourth history we go to another fascinating journey into the world of rare and valuable United States coins, a world where something as small as a single dime can unlock a treasure chest of history, intrigue, and unimaginable value. Today we are diving deep into one very important coin that has stunned both collectors and historians alike with its story, its minting details, and its staggering value in the marketplace. Yes, we are talking about the Liberty One Dime 2016 D, a coin that might seem like an ordinary piece of pocket change to many, but in reality, it has become a highly prized gem in the numismatic world, with an astonishing market current value estimated at $0.58 million. That is right, a dime worth a fortune, and the reasons behind this staggering valuation are as exciting as the coin itself. The 2016 D Liberty One Dime belongs to the Roosevelt Dime series, a coin first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, whose leadership and vision during some of America's most difficult years left an unforgettable mark. The D mint mark found just below the date on the obverse side tells us that this particular coin was minted in Denver, one of the most important U.S. mint facilities. Millions of dimes were produced that year, and yet only a handful stand out to be valued at nearly $600,000. So what makes this coin so extraordinary? The answer lies in a blend of history, minting variations, striking errors, rarity in pristine condition, and above all, collector demand that pushes prices into the stratosphere. Let us begin with the design. On the obverse of the 2016 D dime, you see the dignified portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, designed by John R. Sinek. His profile faces left, symbolizing a forward-looking vision for the country. Along with the portrait, you find the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, the year 2016, and the Denver mint mark D, all elements that anchor the coin's authenticity. Flip it to the reverse and you will notice a torch in the center, flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, representing liberty, peace, and strength. Encircling these are the words United States of America, e pluribus unum, and one dime. This design is not just a piece of art but also a coded representation of the nation's values, but the beauty of this dime does not stop at its design. What truly elevates its worth is the condition and possible minting anomalies that exist within specific pieces. In numismatics, condition is king. Coins graded at the highest levels of preservation, such as mint state 68, mint state 69, and the near-perfect mint state 70, become instant treasures. For the 2016 D dime, finding examples that are absolutely flawless, struck with razor-sharp detail, luster gleaming across the surface, and no visible contact marks, is extremely rare. These are the coins that command jaw-dropping prices at auctions, sometimes approaching the $580,000 mark. Error coins also play a monumental role. Throughout history, accidental mistakes at the mint, such as double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, missing clad layers, or die clashes, have transformed ordinary dimes into priceless rarities. Imagine a 2016 D dime struck on the wrong planchet, say on a cent planchet, or struck without a mint mark, or struck slightly off-center creating a unique pattern. These errors are one of a kind, and collectors compete ferociously to own them, driving the prices sky-high. Reports of unusual variations among 2016 D dimes have fueled collector interest, and whenever a certified grading service authenticates such a coin, its market price skyrockets. Another layer to this story is population rarity. The United States Mint produced millions of 2016 D dimes, but not all survived in untouched condition. Coins that go straight from the mint into circulation lose their luster, gain scratches, and become average pocket change. However, those carefully preserved, sometimes straight out of mint sets or proof-like strikes, remain in pristine shape. When only a few such flawless coins exist in the hands of collectors, their scarcity drives their demand. Supply is limited, but demand among collectors is virtually limitless, and that imbalance transforms these coins into modern treasures. now let us turn to the marketplace. Collectors across America and worldwide are always hunting for rare gems, and the Liberty One Dime 2016D has repeatedly proven its position as a highly sought-after rarity. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers Galleries have reported record-breaking sales when flawless 2016D examples or unusual error versions surface. Private collectors sometimes pay premiums far above the estimated market values just to secure ownership. That is why today, experts and analysts estimate the market value of an extraordinary 2016D Liberty One Dime at approximately $0.58 million. That is nearly $600,000 for a dime that was originally worth only 10 cents. The difference between face value and collector value is staggering, and it tells us how powerful numismatic passion can be. What makes this coin even more fascinating is the cultural story it represents. The dime is more than currency, it is a miniature history book. It reflects Roosevelt's fight against polio and his advocacy for the March of Dimes, a foundation dedicated to curing childhood diseases. This means that every dime minted since 1946 carries not only monetary significance but also a humanitarian story. The 2016D, being one of the modern issues, is both a reminder of Roosevelt's legacy and a testament to how even contemporary coins can achieve legendary status when rarity and demand collide. Think about it for a moment. A coin minted in the 21st century, a coin most of us could have in our pockets or change jars, suddenly becoming one of the most valuable dimes of the modern era. It reminds us to check our pocket change carefully, because hidden treasures might be sitting right in front of us. Collectors who stumble upon such coins, whether through sheer luck or sharp eyes, often find themselves holding a small fortune in their hands. So what should you do if you think you have a 2016D dime that looks unusual or flawless? The first step is to have it carefully examined by a professional grading service such as PCGS or NGC. Authentication and certification are critical, as they not only confirm the coin's authenticity but also assign it an official grade that determines its value. A coin certified as MS68, MS69, or MS70 could instantly transform into a life-changing asset. And if your coin happens to be one of those rare mint errors, its value could be even greater than the already staggering figure of $580,000. In conclusion, the Liberty One Dime 2016D is a shining example of how history, artistry, minting precision, error anomalies, and collector demand can intersect to create a treasure far greater than its face value. From honoring President Roosevelt's enduring legacy to astonishing modern collectors with record-setting auction results, this dime has secured its place as a modern rarity worth nearly $600,000. So the next time you come across a dime, take a closer look. That tiny coin might just carry within it the story of a nation, the legacy of a leader, and the potential of a fortune.